So, the world is once again rolling into what it has been throughout its existence, into chaos, the war in Ukraine, the Israel-Palestine war, Iran, an endless race. Humanity has always been cruel, but in the past, there was something higher than humans, and I'm not talking about religion. We'll get to that later. I'm talking about nature. Think about it. What caused the extinction of the dinosaurs? Certainly not their own intelligence. Some say it was a meteorite. Some claim there were multiple such meteorites. But in any case, nature was behind it all. By nature, I mean the entire cosmos, from the uncharted depths of space to the proton. Nature is cruel and unforgiving, but it provides a chance. The dinosaurs had their chance, a 150 million year opportunity to evolve, develop, and prepare for a cataclysm, if that was even possible. But at a certain point, nature realized it was tired of endless control and decided to create us, humans, beings who became a reflection of nature itself as we gained the power to determine not only our fate as a species, but also the fate of the earth. Without being overly idealistic, nature created us in its image, just as kind and gentle as the rustling of the trees and the warmth of the sun, just as sensitive and understanding as the sunrise and sunset, like the songs of birds, and just as merciless and insatiable as eternal permafrost and devastating tsunamis. However, when creating us, nature didn't consider that one day we would surpass it and rule over it. This situation is akin to a conflict between an elderly, wise father and his young, enthusiastic son. The question is, who will prove to be stronger? From the early days of our existence, when we first emerged from the caves, nature bestowed upon us a gift. The gift of desire, the desire for food and water. Nature, it must be admitted, was devilishly clever because it gave us sensations, like the dryness in our mouth, which compelled us to drink water from puddles to quench our thirst. Later on, it taught us about comfort. Of course, nature's training of humanity was not easy. It had to give us rain to make us appreciate drought, and it had to give us cold to make us value warmth. But we were diligent students, quickly learning because our lives were at stake. In the end, it taught us the three fundamental elements of life: eating, drinking, and surviving. Eventually, we deciphered this basic mystery of nature and combined these three elements into the foundation of Maslow's pyramid. Without them, we cannot survive. Think about how intelligent nature is. First, we want to drink, and our thirst demands action, which involves searching. We seek a water source to satisfy our thirst. Nature taught us to be hunters and gatherers. After the exhausting search for water, we long for rest, and nature taught us to appreciate it. It provided us with comfort in the form of the shelter of a mountain ridge protecting us from the wind, or a large tree offering shade from the heat. It gave us comfort. Only after all of this did it reveal death to us. The desire to eat forced us to kill animals, plants, or other humans. It didn't matter. To survive, we had to kill. Nature didn't give us all of this in that order for no reason. It did so to show us the priority of these elements. But did we learn the lesson? We began to survive, and very soon we realized that we couldn't do it alone, so we started looking for others like us. That's how nature taught us to be friends. Besides our physiological similarities, it gave us another common trait, the desire not to perish. Under the grand facade, we began to unite: pairs, quartets, tribes, communes. We understood that there were too many of us and someone had to lead. So, we created states. So far, so good. Human hill known as Earth expanded as all creatures naturally do. Those who were stronger conquered and killed, while those who were weaker submitted and died. In parallel, humanity didn't believe in nature and created its own fairy tale, religion. In this tale, there were a couple of martyrs who became the main stars, embodying humanity. For nature, this was perfect. Such a tale outright discouraged scientific progress and halted the search for truth. Nature was delighted. However, it was not thanks to, but in spite of nature that neural connections began to grow and synapses multiplied. Religion began to decline. To its credit, it clung on well, though it was already coughing up blood. In any case, it will remain with us forever. Nature was agitated by these changes. It taught a few ancient lessons in the form of plagues and invented a new one: in the form of the Spanish flu. But to be fair, it didn't intervene heavily. But our development slipped out of the hands of creation. We began to rule this dance ourselves. We created nuclear weapons. The manifestation of human power happened in 1945, a time when humans, not for a purpose but for their own amusement, desired to showcase their power and seek revenge, stomped a couple of cities, along with hundreds of thousands of people, into the ground. Nature did not anticipate this. It's confused her, and it remains bewildered even now. It's worth noting that for humans, time passes at the pace dictated by the duration of our lives. For nature, it's the same, except its life is infinite, spanning 13 billion years. So it's no surprise that it's silent. It's preparing a gift for us. Has it become warmer in your region during winter? Clearly, yes. What could this mean? Perhaps nature is preparing our first lesson, where water will be the primary textbook. Now let's return to humans. After this manifestation, they became addicted. The taste of pain awakened the cave dweller in them, and they began creating more and more of these nuclear toys. But the tragedy of humanity lies in the fact that the cave dweller killed to survive, while we kill to indulge ourselves. Nature provided us with everything to live comfortably, and gave each person the opportunity to live where comfortable. However, we, humans, are taking it away from ourselves. The decay of humanity, to be fair, began long before coming of age, but now it's at its peak. You may not understand it yet, but it's worth starting to think about it now. The desire to dominate and rule, rather than to love and create, drives all nations. The only problem is that, thanks to these recent toys, the scale has become uncontrollably vast. Nature understands this and quietly observes us. However, it's entirely possible that nature itself doesn't comprehend the speed of this movement. After all, the race may very well be nearing its finish line. But one question remains: who will destroy the Earth first, humans or nature? I would deeply ponder this if I were in the place of each and every person, because we're alone on our planet, while nature has many other planets. We are playing the black pieces in this game, while nature holds the chessboard.